And in the mind and in the intellect, we experience lot of things like happiness, unhappiness, attachment, and sorrow, pain. All these are also called vikara, the modification of kshetra. Further modification. Thus 24, they further modify. Not all 24, but our mind, the intellect, modifies to give us various experience. Those experiences are also called kshetra because we are conscious of them. So they are called the vikar, the modification. And that modification, Bhagavan now enumerates in the next verse. Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham Sanghatascetana dhritihi Etat kshetram samasena Savikaram udahritam Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham Sanghatascetana dhritihi. One is called Ichha. Ichha is desire. When we hear or when we see some objects which we feel or when we hear about some object which we feel will give us happiness, then we develop that desire to obtain that object, to experience that object. That is called Ichha. Either it comes from our past memory, it is stored, and it suddenly certain things of this world reminds us of that, and the Ichha comes. Otherwise, we are just sitting quietly and all. Suddenly, nice fragrance comes of the freshly roasted coffee beans and all. Then Ichha comes there. I want coffee. That's called Ichha. It can be stimulated, that Ichha can be stimulated by the stimuli from the world outside directly, or by someone's listening to someone or reading something, or from television and all, or from the memory, it just comes. So Ichha is there. That is also known. I know what I want. Means there is a consciousness of what I want. So that is also called kshetra, part of kshetra only. And dvesha. Dvesha is when I see, hear, taste, touch, and those things or those objects which I feel is giving me unhappiness, sorrow, pain. Then that feeling which comes inside is called dvesha. Dislike, intense hatred. And that can come through memory also. We just remember something, then hate comes. It can come through memory. It can come through the stimuli I receive from the world outside, and which are, according to my understanding and according to my judgment, I feel that it gives me sorrow and pain, and therefore I have hatred. But later on, when my judgment change, no, it doesn't give sorrow, it is very good, then the same object will start giving me, then I will develop desire. I want it. So this keeps on fluctuating. There is no guarantee that what I desire will always give me happiness. It gives pain also. So it keeps fluctuating. But it is always there. Constantly the desires erupt in the mind. And constantly the intellect will have to take decisions actually. The intellect is a decision maker. And mind is like just, it keeps on pouring out the desire. Mind doesn't think. Mind just feels. Mind just puts out options. and various things, it just pours out. It will be nice if I get coffee and all. Coffee is very good. I'm just giving this as an example, huh? Not that I am interested in coffee or something. So, this nice coffee, this, that and all. Then intellect, then, अच्छा ठीक है coffee चाहिए आपको, चलो देखते हैं कहाँ मिलेगी coffee and all. Then intellect passes a decision, okay, let us go there to that restaurant and have coffee. So intellect constantly keeps getting the feedback from the mind and takes a decision, chooses, compares, judges, suppresses, repels, rejects. All these things are done by the intellect. Sometimes when we are drunk or when we are not using the intellect relaxes. Then the mind only starts doing whatever comes to. That is called reaction. There are people who are not using the intellect and their mind only keeps reacting to the situation. Somebody says something and I just get angry and all without thinking. That's called mind is reacting. Mind has not referred the matter to the intellect. It says, मैं देख लेता हूँ. It has not referred to the intellect. Intellect sometimes doesn't even know what is happening. Later on it comes to, अच्छा, आपने पिटाई की उसकी? चलो अब क्या करें? So this whole thing are happening. Intellect, when it has got sound wisdom, which is stored in our memory, what is called here avyakta or what is called chitta, it refers to it and takes proper decision. Therefore, satsang and proper education and also proper samskar help us to take good decisions in life. So, ichha, then dvesha, hatred, then sukham. Sukham, when we get object, when we experience objects which are pleasant to us, it gives rise to that feeling of goodness that is called sukha. When we achieve something, when we experience something through the senses, when we think something very pleasant, and it gives us that great feeling of goodness, that is called sukha. When we experience something which is unconducive, which is not favorable to the senses or to the mind, to the intellect or ahankar, to our body, it is totally against our liking, then that is called dukkha, sorrow. And this also keeps fluctuating. And they are also experienced. We are conscious of our happiness and we are conscious of sorrow. So sorrow as well as happiness are kshetra, are objects, are other than me, are part of the mind and intellect. Like if I take the example, like the sun and the water particle, the water particle may contain all this sukha, dukkha and all. It is not there in the reflection of the sun and it is not there in the sun. We are the sun. We are not even the reflection of the sun. We are the sun. At present, we are behaving as the reflection of that sun. We have identified with the reflection of the sun. That is the kshetrajna. The real nature of the kshetrajna is that pure reality only. So, ichha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham, sanghataha. Sanghata is a conglomeration of our body and the senses. Body and the senses together, they are called sanghat. That body and senses organ, they react to the world outside. Constantly through our senses and through the body and through the organs of action, we keep dealing with the world. And the mind and intellect, ahankar, are inner equipment which modulates our responses to the world from within. Therefore, they are called antakkarana, inner instrument also. So, sanghataha, that is also part of kshetra, vikar of kshetra. Then chetana. Chetana is that expression of this consciousness in the body, in the mind, in the intellect, because of which it appears to be alive. That life, because of which it seems to be alive, that is the chetana. When a person is dead, no chetana is there. When the person is alive, there's life in the senses, life in the body, life in the mind, life in that intellect. That is called chetana. And that also we are conscious of. One is conscious of our own life. I am alive. How do you know you are alive? No, I know I am alive. One is conscious of one's life. That life is also part of sharir, is also kshetra, is also different from kshetradnya, the knower. So this, what we call life, is chetana, is part of kshetra. Then dhriti. Dhriti is forbearance, is ability to persevere, of the ability of the mind, the ability of the senses, the ability of the intellect to go on, to bear with all the difficulties and to persevere a particular path or particular action. That quality is called dhriti. That is also included here as a modification of kshetra. So mainly kshetra contains the 24 elements, but these are the further modification of the kshetra. And it includes all. These are just sample given here, but all your thoughts, all the emotions, all that is happening in the body, mind, intellect, is all called kshetra. Is all part of the structure. It's like our, let us say, our mobile. Then whatever you open and whatever you see is part of that structure only. Even the chip and all, everything. But when the electricity flows into it, and when all the tower and all are active, then suddenly it becomes alive. There's something different in that. That is the reflection of that electricity in it, which makes it alive. So similarly, this whole body complex is like the machine only. It is very subtle, very, very complex and very beautiful. And consciousness is the one which is aware of this. So that consciousness which is aware of this body, mind, intellect and all this mechanism is called the kshetradnya, means I am, and these are all my body. So, etak kshetram samasena. Bhagavan says this is kshetram samasena. Briefly, I have explained to you what is kshetra. Savikaram udartam, along with its vikar. Ichha, dvesha, sukha, dukkha, sangha, chetna and dhriti are the vikar, the modification. Udharatam, I have explained to you. Okay? And now we come to a very, very interesting portion of this 13th chapter. It's slowly developing. Bhagavan explained what is kshetra, and he will be explaining what is kshetradnya, using the term neya, that which has to be known. But before explaining that kshetradnya, which has to be known, he gives some 20 values, 20 sadhanas, which he calls knowledge, jnanam. These are 20, in modern times we can call them values. These are called jnanam, knowledge. They are not knowledge by themselves, but these qualities, when we cultivate in our mind, in our intellect, then that equipment help us to recognize our own self. It is like the mirror. Mirror is not my face. But when I clean the mirror and I have proper light and all, then in that mirror I can see my face. Dirty mirror also doesn't make my face dirty. Clean mirror doesn't make my face clean. But if I want to see my face, I need to clean the mirror. Similarly, dirty mind or clean mind, Atma remains untouched. But if I want to recognize and realize that self, then it is necessary that I make the mind, intellect, equipment clean. It is possible to clean them. And that those values which help us to clean the equipment, they are indicated here as jnana, and there are 20 values. And these 20 values are like 20 sadhanas which we have to follow, cultivate in us, and when it is cultivated, it will help us to recognize myself as that pure kshetrajna. And when I recognize myself as that pure kshetrajna, devoid of all this equipment, devoid of all this body and all, when I come to realize myself as that pure I am, and that itself is called that state of enlightenment, I will know myself as Brahma. I will know myself as existing in all the bodies, not only reflecting in one body, but existing in all the bodies. The whole standpoint will change, the whole focus will change, the whole way of looking will change. It's like suppose I am just a reflection in one little, tiny little drop of water, then from that point when I look, everything will be so limited. But suppose I, through some magic, suddenly I go at the level of the sun, then I see all my reflection everywhere. Everywhere, I am there, I am here, I am everywhere. Just imagine the excitement of the sun. Sun doesn't get so excited. But just imagine the sun, when it looks at all the drops, it will say, oh, I exist in all these drops. And each drop and each reflection, they assume a separate identity, and the sun laughs. That look, he is thinking that he is different from me. He is assuming a separate identity. That is what is happening to us. We are, each one of us, in our essential nature is that Brahma. But now we are identified, we are the witness of our own body-mind complex, and identified with this body-mind complex, that itself is called bondage. So we have to recognize ourselves as we are. And the path is to catch hold of this I am. Don't have to do anything. Just focus your attention on your being. I am. And that I am will lead you to your real nature. So for this we have to prepare ourselves. All these qualities which are there, 20 values, they are very important, and if we develop them in our this body, mind and equipment, it will help us. So these are the sadhana, 20 sadhanas mentioned. You don't have to do anything else. People keep on doing all sorts of things and they irritate others also. So don't do irritating sadhana. Just follow the proper guidance given by Bhagwan. Some people do it. Either they will make loud noises early in the morning in the name of sadhana. Once I got so scared, I heard a lot of people laughing and all. Then I came to know it's a laughing club. So all this is fine for your health and all, but if you are serious about enlightenment, then these are the 20 sadhanas which we have to cultivate in us. Let us chant. Amanitvamadambhitvam ahimsakshantirarjavam Acharyopasanam shaucham Stairyamaatma vinigraha Amanitvamadam bhetvam Ahimsa kshantirarjavam Acharyopasanam shaucham Stairyamaatma vinigraha. These 20 values, our Gurudev is to say they are like 20-point program for the sincere spiritual seeker to cultivate. If this is cultivated, you will reach that state of enlightenment. No other sadhana is required. But these are cultivated through our studies, through our contemplation, by following our dharma, by various means, through satsang. All this can be developed within us. They are there. They are there within us. We have to recognize them and assert them and make them firm. All these qualities are naturally there in all of us. It's like in a dirty water also, pure water is there. But it has to be filtered, it has to be evaporated and all those distillation process and all, then that pure water will come out. Similarly, these qualities mentioned here are there in the natural, pure state of our mind, our intellect. But because of our lot of experiences and different ideas and concepts and various theories and notions and superstitions and all sorts of things, it has got muddled up so much that it is really in a very bad shape, to tell you frankly. But nothing is lost. We can again retrieve this and make it good. So the first thing is amanitvam. Amanitvam means absence of manitvam, absence